I refuse to accept my manipulative father's expensive gifts because it feels like a trap.
I don't want your gifts.
I grew up in the upper middle class. We took vacations every year, had new clothes every school year, everything from grocery store was brand named, healthcare was never a problem, etc., etc. I've been out of the country several times and had my college education paid for. By the way, this comes from Poi Terwook. And if you want to submit your own stories, just go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I've been with my fiance for 3.5 years. He grew up in poverty. He never had the chance to go to college, and he's only been on a plane twice in his life, going to and from the same place. My parents disapprove of him for a variety of reasons, but one of them is financial. They don't think that he'll be able to take care of me. When my parents were first together, they weren't living a luxurious life, but eventually my dad's career progressed to where it is now. Fiance is just not going to have that happen. The reality is that while I may not have all the comforts of growing up, once I start working full time, we will be just fine together. Things can get tight now, but never near poverty or anything. My parents don't seem to accept this. My father has some serious control issues. He started being very showy about his money whenever I'm around and is constantly asking how much money I have. Whenever I visit them, he will splurge on some big expensive thing like indoor skydiving, steak dinners, and fancy boots. He'll ask me where I think he should buy a vacation home or talk about taking overseas vacations. It might sound like he's just being generous, but these gifts are always followed the next day by a conversation about how he doesn't want me moving in with my fiance. Something I did 2 years ago, and paying bills there, something fiance has not wanted me to do. He tried to get me to tell him how much fiance is paying for rent and bills. He's a manipulative person, and if not for my mom and younger brother, plus the fact that they're still paying for school, I wouldn't ever visit. We've never had a healthy relationship. When he asked me if I wanted a graduation present or a party a couple months ago, I said that I'd like a Cedar Hope chest. My mom has one, and I loved when she kept sheets and blankets in it. My father offered a trip, and I said no, since I know he would not pay for fiance to go as well. Not that fiance would want my father paying for him, and I don't have any close friends to go with. This morning, he messaged me offering to send me to London for a week by myself in May. I don't have a job lined up yet, so that's not an issue. I also know that once I'm financially independent from them, trips overseas will no longer be a possibility. This is pretty much my last chance to do something like this. There are some cool places I'd like to visit. London seems pretty safe for a woman on her own, and it would be a great experience. But I'm very conflicted. I know he's revving up for another conversation about me officially moving in with fiance, plus he has a car that I've been using, which he is supposed to sell to me. But every time I try to talk about that, it turns into the moving in conversation. I told him originally that if he wanted to do something big for graduation, to just sell me the car. We've had a deal for years about that car, and now he's trying to throw in a big London trip. I also can't help but feel like this is just another way of him being showy with money and offering me things that he knows fiance can't give me in an attempt to get me to rethink our future. And if I turn the trip down, he will definitely blame the fiance for it. Plus, I feel like leaving fiance for a week or more while I gallivant off to London is insensitive. My father took a trip to Tampa alone recently, and I thought it was very selfish of him to leave his wife working from home alone while he went and played in Florida. I know that some couples do this kind of thing, but considering fiance has never once left the country, it doesn't seem fair to him. Plus, he tends to get kind of depressed when my father flaunts his money, since he is worried that I would prefer a richer guy, and our money situation recently has not been awesome. I don't want to go off and have fun at the expense of the person who loves and supports me being miserable at home. That's not what supportive partners do. If I got an all expenses paid trip to London with no strings attached, I would certainly take it, but there are strings here. It would be a great opportunity that I'll never have again, but I'm not super attached to the idea, and the cons seem to outweigh the pros. Plus, my mom and I are doing a weekend trip at the end of the month to see my grandma. That is a lot of time away from home. So what should I do? I haven't talked to my fiance yet about this, and there are some comments, but what would your answer be?
Thoughts. I disagree with OP.
Yeah?
I have a lot of thoughts, actually.
Yeah.
I think OP is trying to be really nice, but I think on the first point of supportive partners, I think if your partner is supportive, they shouldn't feel like you guys have different circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, you are getting married, but this is a gift that you were given. It's not like you're, spending your mutual funds or anything.
Yeah.
So, and also this is something that you're never going to, like you said, it might be a once in a lifetime opportunity. If your partner is supportive of you, they shouldn't be like, no, I can't go to London. It's like, unfortunately, they had different circumstances growing up. Right. And it sucks, but as long as you're not spending, like a collective fund.
Yeah.
I think it's okay.
But let's see what the comments say. Comment number 1 says, your father asked you about a present for your graduation and you asked for a certain thing. He then offered you something different. That's his way of saying that he knows better than you on what you want. The thing he offered could have been something as simple as a coffee table instead of the chest or a bells and whistles coffee maker, but the basis is the same. He's telling you what you want and not listening to what you say you want. It's infantilizing and a standard power and control tactic. Hold out for the Cedar Hope chest and start taking control back a bit at a time. Sure, the trip's tempting, but it's not a gift at all. It's a tool to make you feel grateful or guilty at some point in the future when you argue with him about something.
I don't know. I'm just like,
interesting take.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I understand that he probably might guilt her about something if he's been doing it, but like, you're an adult. You can just kind of say no.
Right.
And he has to respect that. And also it seems like if you were like, I don't want to go on this trip. This trip sucks. Like, this is not what I wanted. I'd be like, yeah, that is messed up that he's only offering that and not the hope chest.
Right.
But like, you clearly want to go on this trip.
Right. I think like if you really want that chest instead of going on the trip, then you can just be like, hey, like, I really want this. Like, talk to him about that and be like, it would honestly mean so much to me if I got this rather than the trip.
Yeah. If you wanted the chest more than the trip, I'd be like, okay, talk to him.
Right.
But it feels like you only want the trip less because of all of these other things that you're thinking about. Yeah.
99% of commenters saw things the same way as
so
me.
Interesting. I'm like, I'm like, a trip to London.
Right.
Maybe I'm just really excited about this gift.
You just really want to go to London.
I really want to go to London.
Realizing that the trip offer was definitely a way for my father to continue manipulating me and drive a wedge between me and my fiance. I told my fiance about my father's offer, and he also recognized what was happening immediately. Predictably, he got pretty sad about this latest attempt. I told him that I was not going, not only because I would be going alone, likely with my father having planned out my itinerary and pre-purchased tickets so he always knew where I was, but also because I need to use that time to apply to jobs. Very true. He was worried that he was preventing me from doing something I really wanted to do, but I told him that that was not the case. I'd rather spend a week with him playing video games in pajamas than spend a week by myself in an unfamiliar city in obligation to my manipulative father. I didn't bring up the offer to my father until this morning, but I realized that if I stayed silent on it, he might go ahead and buy the tickets. So I messaged him and turned it down. I did take a bit of a cowardly way out and didn't confront him on not including my fiance in the offer. Instead, I cited the fact that I need to use that time to find jobs and brought up the car agreement by saying it was crucial for me to find a job so that I could pay car insurance. I figured that he couldn't argue with me wanting to find a job and wanted to leave no wiggle room and avoid an opportunity for him to insult my fiance some more. I don't want to do that crap over Facebook Messenger. He was clearly not pleased, but did not try to push the issue. We are actually now in the process of going through with the car agreement, so that's a nice unexpected thing. I'm going to pay him in full up front, so that would not be a continuing debt. By the way, what is a continuing debt is you have to listen to more episodes with full stories just like this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, whatever your favorite one is, and search OK Storytime. You have to pay off the debt.
You gotta.
But there is a little bit more. I'm just going to roll right into it. I'm still on his phone plan. I can't afford one of my own right now, and my fiance is on a friends and family discount plan with his brother-in-law, so I couldn't be added to his. Once I secure a job, I'll be able to back out of that if necessary. Thank you, everyone, for your comments and advice. Hopefully, fiance and I can take our own overseas trip someday soonish. Anyone who wants to pet sit, let me know. Yeah, but so it's good that she talked to him. I'm glad that she did, because that's what I would say if she was looking for advice on how to move forward. But yeah, she talked to him. She's working to get off that phone plan. She's getting the car. I think she's going about it the right way. Great job.
Yeah, keep having conversations with your partner about finances and stuff because those are important too. And
Absolutely.
you know,
But that's the end of that story. We've got another one for you. Stay tuned.